Why most traders quit before they succeed is not just a title, it is a quiet confession written into the journey of almost everyone who has ever opened a trading chart with hope in their chest and urgency in their heart. The truth begins here, in the moment where excitement still feels stronger than doubt, where the dream of freedom feels close enough to touch, and where no one yet realizes how deeply this path will test who they are long before it rewards what they know. Most traders begin with a feeling, not a framework. They arrive carrying stories in their head about fast money, clean exits, and a future where stress disappears behind a glowing screen. They imagine control. They imagine certainty. They imagine that effort will be rewarded quickly because that is how the dream was sold to them. And for a brief moment, the market plays along. A few wins arrive early, almost like a handshake from the future, and confidence blooms before discipline has even been planted. This is where the trap quietly closes. Because the market is not interested in rewarding belief. It is interested in revealing truth. There is a moment every trader remembers, even if they try to forget it. The first loss that actually hurts. Not because of the money, but because of what it says to them internally. Until that moment, losses were theoretical. After that moment, they become personal. The screen no longer shows numbers, it shows judgment. Fear enters not as panic, but as a subtle voice asking questions that have nothing to do with charts. What if I am not built for this? What if I am wasting my time? What if everyone else is moving forward and I am standing still? This is where most traders begin to separate from the path without even realizing it. Why most traders quit before they succeed is answered in these quiet internal conversations. It is not the size of the loss, but the meaning assigned to it. One trader sees a losing trade as feedback. Another sees it as a verdict. The market delivered the same information to both, but the mind translated it differently. That translation decides who stays and who leaves. This is why trading is not a technical skill first. It is an emotional one disguised as logic. Fear does not arrive screaming. It arrives whispering. It tells traders to hesitate when their plan says act. It tells them to exit early when patience is required. It tells them to avoid the next setup because the last one hurt. Over time, fear rewrites behavior while pretending to be protection. The trader believes they are being careful, but in reality they are being conditioned. Conditioned to associate opportunity with pain. Eventually, not trading feels safer than trading, and quitting begins to feel like relief rather than surrender. Greed works just as quietly, but in the opposite direction. It shows up after a win and convinces the trader that the rules no longer apply. Position sizes grow. Patience disappears. The mind starts reaching forward into imagined profits that do not exist yet. Greed is not about wanting money, it is about wanting certainty in an uncertain environment. And the market punishes that desire relentlessly. When the inevitable loss comes, it is larger than it should have been, and the emotional damage is deeper. This is often where revenge trading is born. Revenge trading is not anger at the market, it is anger at oneself. It is the refusal to accept that a loss has already happened. The trader trades again not because there is opportunity, but because there is pain. Each click becomes an attempt to erase discomfort rather than execute a plan. Discipline collapses under the weight of emotion, and the trader begins to spiral. When the account finally breaks, the story becomes simple. Trading is impossible. Trading is rigged. Trading is not for me. Quitting feels logical because the real problem was never named. Why most traders quit before they succeed is rooted in this misunderstanding. They believe the market defeated them, when in reality their own reactions did. The market simply exposed what was already there. Impatience. Fear of being wrong. A need for validation. An attachment to outcomes. These traits exist long before trading begins, but trading magnifies them under pressure. And pressure reveals character faster than comfort ever could. There is a dangerous belief that success in trading should look like progress in other areas of life. Study hard, apply knowledge, see results. But trading does not reward effort linearly. You can do everything right and still lose. You can make money doing everything wrong. This disconnect breaks people. They feel betrayed by the process. They confuse randomness with injustice. And when effort does not produce immediate reward, they assume something is wrong with them. This is one of the most common reasons people walk away just before growth begins. The traders who survive understand something subtle but powerful. They understand that consistency is not built during winning periods. It is built during drawdowns. It is built in moments where nothing seems to work, yet discipline is maintained anyway. These moments do not feel like progress. They feel like stagnation. But beneath the surface, the mind is changing. Emotional reactions are slowing. Awareness is increasing. Patterns are being recognized not just on charts, but within the self. Overtrading is often mistaken for dedication. In reality, it is avoidance. It is the attempt to outrun uncertainty through activity. The trader feels productive because they are always in the market, but the truth is they are afraid to sit with stillness. Stillness forces reflection. Reflection forces accountability. And accountability threatens the ego. So they trade again and again until exhaustion replaces insight. Eventually, the emotional cost becomes too high, and quitting looks like peace. Why most traders quit before they succeed is also about identity. Many traders tie their self-worth directly to their account balance. A green day feels like validation. A red day feels like failure. This creates an emotional roller coaster that no strategy can survive. When the account dips, confidence collapses. When confidence collapses, execution suffers. When execution suffers, losses increase. The trader is now fighting themselves, not the market. And most people do not stay in battles they believe they are losing internally. The traders who make it learn to separate who they are from what they do. A losing trade does not make them incompetent. A winning trade does not make them special. Each trade becomes data, not drama. This emotional neutrality is not natural. It is trained. And the training is uncomfortable. It requires sitting with losses without reacting. It requires accepting uncertainty without trying to control it. It requires discipline without immediate reward. Most people do not quit because they cannot learn this. They quit because they are unwilling to feel what learning it requires. Comparison accelerates quitting faster than almost anything else. Seeing others post wins creates a distorted reality where everyone else appears ahead. The trader forgets that they are comparing their behind-the-scenes struggle to someone else's highlight moment. This comparison breeds impatience. Impatience breeds frustration. Frustration breeds abandonment. The irony is that the trader who stays focused on their own process is often progressing faster internally, even if externally it does not yet show. Why most traders quit before they succeed can be traced to a single misunderstanding. They believe the hardest part of trading is learning how to trade. In reality, the hardest part is learning how to be consistent under emotional pressure. Strategies can be learned in months. Emotional regulation can take years. And that time gap is where most people give up. They assume the pain means something is wrong, when it actually means something is forming. Fear of wasted time is another silent killer. After months or years of effort, traders look back and feel behind. They calculate opportunity cost. They wonder what else they could have done. This backward-looking mindset drains motivation. Instead of seeing experience gained, they see time lost. The trader who succeeds reframes this completely. They understand that every mistake paid tuition. Every loss taught something that cannot be learned in theory. Nothing was wasted unless they quit. Self-sabotage often wears the mask of logic. The trader says they need a break. They say they will come back later. They say conditions are not right. These explanations feel responsible, but they are often avoidance in disguise. Avoidance of discomfort. Avoidance of confronting weaknesses. Avoidance of the uncertainty that growth demands. Temporary breaks can be healthy. Permanent quitting often begins with reasonable-sounding excuses. Why most traders quit before they succeed is ultimately about endurance. Not stubbornness, but informed persistence. The ability to continue while adjusting. To stay while learning. To remain present when emotions demand escape. The traders who succeed are not immune to fear, greed, or doubt. They simply learn not to obey them. They learn to act according to rules rather than feelings. And that shift does not happen quickly or comfortably. There is a point in every trader's journey where quitting feels intelligent. Where staying feels naive. Where the emotional pain outweighs the logical reasons to continue. This point is the threshold. On one side is repetition of old patterns. On the other is transformation. Most people never cross it because nothing on the outside signals that they should. The only signal is internal, and it feels like resistance. The market does not reward intelligence alone. It rewards emotional maturity. It rewards patience. It rewards those who can remain calm when outcomes are uncertain. And these qualities are forged, not gifted. They are forged in losses that do not break you. In drawdowns that do not define you. In moments where quitting would be easier, but staying creates growth. Why most traders quit before they succeed is not a criticism. It is an observation. The market is a psychological mirror, and most people are not prepared to look at themselves for that long. They wanted money, but the market demanded self-mastery first. They wanted freedom, but the market demanded discipline. They wanted certainty, but the market offered probability. Those who accept this trait stay. Those who resist it leave. If you are still here, still listening, still questioning, that matters. Not because it guarantees success, but because it means you have not surrendered to the illusion that discomfort equals failure. The path does not get easier. But you get stronger. And one day, quietly, without fireworks, you realize that you no longer react the way you used to. Losses no longer shake you. Wins no longer intoxicate you. You are no longer trying to prove anything. You are simply executing. That is the moment most traders never reach. Not because it is hidden, but because it requires patience in a world addicted to speed. It requires endurance in a culture obsessed with shortcuts. It requires humility where ego wants recognition. And that is why most traders quit before they succeed.